I'm going to have you launch into a little group discussion in just a moment. But before we do, we have our brother Nick. Nick, raise your hand. Nick is the fighter. Nick is the fighter, and he's the dude you place your bets on. Amen? So let's continue to pray for Nick, right? And we have our sister and one of the fearless leaders through the word, Jarrett. Jarrett? Yeah. She's struggling with some back issues, but God is in control. So keep praying. Keep praying for Jarrett. Pray for Nick. And for those of you who have prayer requests, please bring them to Natasha, and we'll get started. Okay, so before we turn to Acts chapter 7, we have here the handout. Your handout is a little bit more robust than usual.
Yes.
Nice choice of words.
Because I thought you used some commentary. Some notes today. And I was in a good productive mood when I was writing this.
Also, just a baby chapter.
Yeah. I mean, chapter 7 is huge. Let's think about chapter 7. Chapter 7, in essence, is mostly a sermon given by Stephen to the Jewish leaders, the Sanhedrin. But before we get in there, I want to just open up with a very brief time of prayer and then take a look at the group discussion. So I invite you to bow your hearts and heads with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for your great goodness, your beauty from which you draw us to over and over again, for your mercy, your compassion, your love. I thank you for that amazing, that solid word that Pastor Rich preached to us on yesterday, Lord, about the prophet Jonah. I thank you for this Lenten season that we're in, a time of repentance, a time of remembering that we are dust, that we are to confess, that we are to be who you have made us to be, creatures made in your image and likeness. And so we ask that you would be with us this evening, open up your word to our hearts and our minds, and speak a living word in the here and now this evening. In the name of Christ we pray, and everyone said, Amen. So the group discussion question here reads, how did God come to you through our study of chapter 6 last week? What was a major takeaway for you out of our discussion from last week's teaching? Just talking about what was happening there in chapter 6. So even though we're going to be in chapter 7 this evening, I encourage you to go back to chapter 6, refresh your memory as to what we've covered. Think about how God spoke to you out of that discussion, out of that conversation that we had. And where has God been meeting you this past week? Was there a particular instance? Do you have a praise report, as Christians say, right? Do you have a point of celebration where you felt, wow, God really came through? Or do you just have a particular struggle, something that you're carrying that you feel you could share in the context of your small group tables? I want to give you guys about 10 minutes to do this, and then we're going to jump right into our teaching, okay? We have some music you hear in the background. And that's people, you're just going to hear that. I thought I was hearing things. The clarinet, somebody doing the clarinet, practicing upstairs.
That's beautiful.
Is that clarinet?
Is that what it is?
Oh, is that you?
No, I said that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, you pray for me.
It's going to be a trip this session.
Alright guys, get into your conversation mode. Got 10-15 minutes to talk about how God has come to you, or what stood out to you from yesterday's or last
Coming out of my ears.
But if you're not there right now, actually we should jump back to chapter 6. Even though we're doing chapter 7 this evening, just maybe take a quick look at chapter 6 as we start off with a sort of cursory review or sort of recapturing of what we covered before. But before we go back into chapter 6 of the book of Acts, are there any outstanding questions that you may have, or something you would like to share with regards to how God has been coming to you, perhaps last week, or how you've been experiencing God this week? Would anyone like to share where they've been at? You don't have to, but if you do, you have something. Going once. Maybe if I do a dance, I can coach. Oh, yeah, there's no need. Yes.
So, in the beginning of chapter 6, it started off talking about how the Hellenists, the Greeks were complaining to the Jews, how they were excluding their widows, whom the word says are always, along with the orphans, to be provided for, but they were not providing for them in the food distribution, so they were complaining about it. And then the question ponder came up, where in the life of you excluding widows. And then, ironically enough, that carried over to Sunday in Richard's sermon, where he's talking about who you're running from, who you're hiding from, those people that you don't, put yourself, extend yourself to, and all this kind of stuff. So, having to answer the question, I found a lot of ways that I run or exclude or hide, and particularly around that area of like loving the unlovely, or people that, as Rich said, they get on your last nerve, so you withhold, and it was pretty impactful for me, and I had a real big time in the second service. I stayed over a second time, because when you're, in ministry, first service, you're praying for others, so you don't really get a chance to be prayed for yourself and really apply what you're hearing, because you're kind of in work mode, So I decided I was going to stay a second time and hear the word again. It was like, boom! It was just like a brick, going from heaven on my head. And such a wonderful time in repentance. I mean, man, what a load off. But I left out of all of that just in prayer. And if you think about it, you also pray this for me too. That God would help it not to be remorse, but be true repentance. Because there is a big difference.
Yes. Very nice. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, listen, guys, it's always a beautiful thing when you're able to recall how God impacted you through a particular sermon or a teaching, how God has been coming to you, maybe through a small group. And part of the reason why we create space for that here, right, to really sit and reflect on questions like, how is God, or how did God come to you? Is because that is a key point in discipleship, right? In the book of Deuteronomy, which is the 5th book of Moses in the Old Testament, right? One of the commands is to remember. And the act of remembrance is an act of choosing to place God first in your life. The old Hebrew rabbis would say, for instance, to forget is to sin. I want you to think about that for a second. To forget is to sin. Now, they weren't talking about forgetting your favorite dessert. Right? They're talking about in relation to the Shema. Listen, listen, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. And one of the commands over and over again in the Torah, over and over again in the Scripture, is to remember. Remember what the Lord thy God has said to you. Remember how he has saved you. Remember how he has delivered you. Remember his promises to you, right? And so that's why we create this space to say, let's think about how God has come to us. And the reason why we do that is to celebrate God's faithfulness. Amen? God is faithful. What that means is that he is a promise keeper. God keeps his promise. When you hear that phrase, God is faithful, think of that in the context of the covenant of marriage, right? A faithful husband or faithful wife. That means that they are living out their vows to the other. And God is faithful to us, right? God is a promise keeper, but sometimes we forget. And so we need to be active in remembrance. And so I thank you for sharing that. Maybe one other, maybe two others regarding an act of remembrance, how God has come to you this past week. Thoughts or even questions.
I have a question. What came up for me, I was looking at the questions and the invitation. We discussed this, and people were very candid in sharing with me. But in the invitation, in terms of the exclusion, I was saying that it is a skill to do building in the community to reach out to those that are excluded in terms of the Christian community.
Yes.
And it's a skill that we could learn and help each other with.
Yes.
And the other thing, when considering the invitation that Jesus offers, and also what am I avoiding or hiding from, I brought up the idea of rest, that I really don't know how to rest. I have a fake look of rest, but it's not rest.
Yeah.
And what does that mean, and how to explore that? And I started, I think it came from Monica, that I started journaling about resting and writing letters to the Lord about it. And I found it helpful, so I want to thank you for that idea.
Wonderful, great. Any others? As we hear the clarinet or whatever. Yes, Natasha.
For me, I was sharing with my group what was significant for me is that in the situation with the Hellenistic Jews and the Greek Jews, is that God allowed them to choose the 7 Greek men, and for some reason it never occurred to me that they were all Greek men. And why that was significant is that a lot of times when we have problems, we may think God will solve it in some divine way, but He empowers us to be able to be part of the solution.
Amen.
And I love that because it has such a human touch to it, that it was a human problem and God entered in it by giving Paul and the other apostles the wisdom to be able to say, let's get 7 men, but they got the Greek men to be able to help the Greek widows. That just blessed me. I don't know.
Amen. Yes. That was an amazing point that we see in chapter 6, right? So the issue, so let's take a look again at chapter 6 very quickly before we go to 7. Remember, just reading out of verse 1, in those days when the number of disciples were increasing, the Hellenistic Jews. So you have 2 groups of Jews here. You have those Jews who are the Hebraic Jews, those who are living around the Palestinian area, those who are living in either Jerusalem or surrounding Jerusalem. And then you have the diaspora. Repeat with me, diaspora. Or diaspora, depending on how you pronounce it, right, is the Jews that after the Babylonian captivity, after the Jews about 450 years before this time, they were sacked by the ancient empire of Babylon. Right? And remember that whole thing, they got brought back to Babylon, a lot of Jews spread after that. Right? So you have, for hundreds of years, Jews who have been dispersed into other nations. And those were typically called the Hellenistic Jews, the Greek-speaking Jews. Because the current language at the time in that empire, the dominant language, was Greek. The official language of the empire was Latin. So if you were a Roman official, you would speak Latin. The kind of everyday language, the street language, was Koine Greek. It's a certain kind of Greek, right? Which is also the Greek in which the New Testament documents are written in. And then you have Hebrew, I almost forgot the language, Hebrew, which is the 3rd language. And so if you think about Jesus and the apostles and others, they typically would have had, their common language would have been some kind of Aramaic, right, which is an offshoot of Hebrew, and Greek, and maybe a few Latin words here and there, given that Israel at the time was under the Roman boot. They were the oppressors, right, that is rather oppressed by the Roman Empire. And so that's the reason for that language of 2 groups here. You have the Hellenistic Jews, those are the Jews from the diaspora, and then you have the Hebraic Jews. Yes?
So Paul, Saul, he would have been one of the Hellenistic.
Saul from Tarsus, yes, that's right. Even though, interestingly enough, he was trained under, as we know, one of the best rabbis of the day, Gamaliel, right? So Paul, we can tell by his language, by the way he wrote the letters, he has an amazing command of Greek. He's the most sophisticated Greek writer in the New Testament. He's an educated man, Paul the Apostle, right? He's an educated man. He knows Aramaic, Hebrew, right? He knows Greek. He probably has the command of Latin, right? He was a Roman citizen. We'll find that out in the book of Acts, which is how he was able to, confront the authorities in one instances. Yep.
So it made perfect sense for him to be the apostle to the Gentiles. his first language was Greek.
Yeah,
He was
man.
from a Greek area.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's, we're going to look at that as to the providence of God and how God selected. Like, we can speculate. I mean, we don't know. But it's amazing that God used Saul of Tarsus, who was later renamed Paul, given his pedigree. And I think I've said this before, but scholars today attempt to estimate the kind of intellectual or knowledge-based capacity that Paul had. And they said if you were to put Paul in a sort of contemporary framework, the amount of knowledge this brother had would be equivalent to about 2 to 3 PhDs. Right? 2
Wow.
to 3, like a person who's holding multiple doctorates. This is a brilliant man, one of the leading students of Gamaliel, right? He's not a Joe Schmo from the block. And so when he has, or Joe Terry. So when he has an encounter, a living encounter with the Christ event, right, which we'll read about, and how that revolutionizes him, it's fascinating. Because he's leading out in the persecution of the church. We're going to come up to that. He's really leading out. So yes, all of that is very fascinating to think about the language, the culture, what was happening. And this is why I always encourage you guys to get good commentaries. Get good commentaries. Because a commentary, or Terry, I'm not a commentator, but a good commentary does the homework for you in a sense. It lays out the details, like what was it like? What was life like in this period of time? What did it mean to be, like what is a Pharisee? Remember a couple of classes back, we broke down what a Sadducee is? So that's the blessing of it. And a lot of our study today is coming from commentary. So, yeah, take a look again with me at chapter 6 before we move on. So we saw here in chapter 6 in the book of Acts how a major issue, an injustice took place, right, in the food distribution. The Greek Jews were being left out, particularly the widows, while the Hebraic Jews were being included. This was an issue. This was a racial issue. Think about that. This was a serious social justice issue that caused the church to experience conflict. And so the apostles themselves, the 12, the Bible says in the book of Acts, had to stop and address it. Like, okay, this is an issue. We got to do that. And so we saw that here. And it's amazing how in the context of conflict, in the context of trouble, in the place where things are not going so well, God will work something beautiful. So for those of you who were here this past Sunday, Rich said something beautiful when he said, sometimes the fish that swallows you up in life, think of Jonah, is actually God's grace coming to you. Right? You may experience it as, oh my goodness, like you can't get any worse than this, right? They threw me off the boat, I'm like suicidal already, because every died, fish comes in, right? But that's actually God's grace coming, it's a form of God's grace coming to you. How God will do something to shake you, right? And reorient you, even though in the moment you don't feel that, right? In the moment, you're inside of the belly of a beast, right? Yes, sir.
So, like, in that context of that, right? Like, especially what's going on in the world right now, right?
Yes.
Like, how do you express that, for example, to people who literally may have lost everything, like people in wars, people who lost their family and murder,
That's right.
You know, they lost their income, lost like their land.
That's right.
So if you were to tell someone like that,
Mhm.
like, oh, this is just God's way of,
Yeah.
and they would say, well, why am I going through so much hardship?
Why would God choose this method?
Yeah, and how do you expect me to cope with a situation like this? So
Yeah.
what would you say in that?
It's a great question, and my initial response to that would be the nuance that Rich used in the sermon. So when I was listening to the sermon, right, and when Rich said that, Pastor Rich spoke about the fish as God's grace coming to you, he said something very interesting. He said perhaps that is God's grace coming to you. So not every tragedy that we experience is God's grace coming to us. God is sovereign, amen? That means God is in control regardless of whatever. And God can use whatever tragedy to bring good out of it, right? But sometimes something that may appear as tragic is an example of God's grace actually coming to us. So if a person came to me and had that kind of question, like, I suffered so much, my response wouldn't be initially like, that's God's grace coming to you, because in a sense that's not pastorally sensitive, right? I need to get very incarnational. I need to sit, I may have to really hear their story. I'm going to have to probably weep with them. I may have to engage in a period of silence, right, with them. And sometimes we're quick to arrive at a solution that actually negates the pain. And then sometimes we do that for a number of reasons. That goes more into kind of pastoral work. But brother, that's a great question. But that's why when we listen to a sermon, we want to hear the nuance. Like, what is really being said there, So again, back to chapter 6. And so in verse 5, after the apostles gave the proposal, verse 5 in chapter 6, verse 5 of chapter 6, says this proposal pleased the whole group, and they chose Stephen, a man full of faith and the Holy Spirit, also Philip, Prochorus, and so on and so forth. And this is what Natasha just said. Like, wow, that's an amazing thing how the group chose. Right now, mind you, the persons that were being neglected, the persons that were being marginalized and disenfranchised were Greek Jewish widows. And the persons selected here are Greek Jews. So the very persons, they're choosing intentionally persons representative of the oppressed. That's an amazing socio-political move. I mean, we read this, we're not even paying attention to the names. It's like, okay, Prochorus, all right, let's keep on reading, right?
Yeah.
That God is in that. God is mightily in that. It's a tragedy when you have a panel of people talking about women's rights and there's nothing but white dudes on the panel. Like, what is that? You understand what I'm saying? So you got to speak from a place.
It's pretty bad.
Why? Because integrity is important, right? Empathy is important. You got to sometimes be in a place to speak out of that place. You can't speak abstractly about a lot of things. You can't do ministry abstractly out of a place of, you've never been through it. So typically, I have found personally in my own life, my ministries or my acts of service are most potent when I'm serving out of a place where I myself have experienced the lack or I've experienced struggle. And God brought me through whatever means. And now God has me in that place to act on behalf of others. So we want to pay attention to our own journey, our own journeys, our own stories in relation to that. But I don't want to spend too much time here in chapter 6. I do want to get into chapter 7 because you guys know me. I'll end up reteaching this. Stephen was seized, right? Stephen he was bold, brother was filled with wisdom, faith. These are some of the attitudes, right? Wisdom, faith, the Holy Spirit, power encounters, miracle, and he's just debating with the Jewish leaders, the rabbis, and they can't win this. This guy he's too wise. His words are too smooth. It's like this guy, he's got a power from the Lord. And so what do they start doing? They start lying. They start lying on Stephen. Stephen gets rounded up, and now we're in chapter 7, right? And chapter 6 ends with the Sanhedrin, the ruling body, having Stephen right in front of them. They'll look at him like this. And chapter 6 ends when they said that they looked at him and his face was like an angel. Like this guy, his place. And I think we ended with that question, how do we typically respond when we're under pressure? Do we have the peace of God within us like that? So here we are, chapter 7. We're gonna do things a little differently today. This is a very large chapter. So rather than reading through the entire chapter and then working our way back, we're just going to read chunks and teach out of those chunks. That's cool? Yeah. All right, so chapter 7 of the book of Acts, the Acts of the Apostles. This is the ancient church going all the way back. Amazing stuff here. Right. I just want to give you some background. So what you have here in chapter 7 is Stephen giving, in a sense, a sermon. He's gonna pontificate. He's going to communicate. He's going to articulate the providence of God in Jewish history to the leading Jews of the day. to the Sanhedrin. I mean, this dude. And so we got to get a little background here. So if you look at the notes with me, it says, Stephen preaches to the Sanhedrin a survey of Israel's history. Like really a snapshot of Israel's history during the time of the patriarchs. That means from Abraham onward. Right? Some of the major figures. Abraham. Right? Who was the son of Abraham? What was his name? Isaac. Oh, he's scaring me. Abraham, Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob, right? And he has some, right? Jacob had 12, right? And then Joseph, remember them, right? This is all Genesis. This is all the book of beginnings. That's how you say it in Hebrew. The book of beginnings. The English translation is Genesis. Joseph, and the story of Genesis ends in which major country? Empire? Egypt. Very nice. Ends in Egypt. And what's the next book right after Genesis? Exodus. Where is that in? Egypt. About 400-year span. Okay. And so that's the time of the patriarchs. Right? The time of the patriarchs is really from Abraham all the way up to the end of Genesis, like Joseph. But it could sometimes include Moses. Moshe. So it's in Hebrew. And so Stephen preaches to the Sanhedrin a survey of Israel's history during the time of the patriarchs. Why would he preach this? So before we go into it, here's a little background. Because this is a big question. Why is Stephen doing this? Why is he doing this? Look at number 1. Remember the charges brought against him in Acts 6, 11, and 13, and 14. First, that he spoke blasphemous words against Moses. These are the charges. He spoke blasphemous words against. You're going to get shot. You can't talk about Moses in Israel. That's not a good thing. You're going to get laid out, right? And he's speaking, this is what they're saying to him, these are false charges. We know that. These are trumped up charges. Blasphemous words against Moses. He spoke against what? The Torah. Write that word down next to that word law, because I want you guys to begin to capture the native tongue of these words, right? Look, when you see the word law, think of Torah. Torah, right? Torah.
The law of Moses.
The law of Moses. You got it, brother. You got it. And right? So spoke against the law, against Moses. He spoke to change Jewish customs, the tradition of men. Second, he spoke blasphemous words against God and God's dwelling place, the temple. Now, if you think about it, all the charges brought up against Stephen sound eerily similar to the charges brought against who? Jesus. Okay? Okay? Number 2, right? To give you a little background here before we go into chapter 7. Stephen gives an overview again of the Tanakh. That's another word, right? So you heard me say that. That just signifies the Old Testament. Right? The Old Testament. The entire. That's like for us in our Bible, from Genesis to the prophet Malachi. Okay? So Stephen gives an overview of the Tanakh. Okay? Of the Old Testament history. We shouldn't think Stephen instructing the Sanhedrin on points of Jewish history they were ignorant of. That's very important, because sometimes when you read through chapter 7, you're like, why is this brother going through, you're preaching to the choir, they know this. He's not trying to instruct them in Jewish history, however. Instead, you may want to underline this, instead, Stephen wants to emphasize some things revealed in, not Swish history.
Jewish, right?
Wow. History of basketball. You might take a picture and I put that on IG. Revealed in Jewish history, they may not have considered. That's what Stephen is doing here. He's like, I want to focus on certain things about our history as a people, as the Jews. Remember, Stephen himself is who? Jewish. Now, he is, however, a Greek Jew, which means he's a Jew from in a diaspora, right? But he's like, listen, I want to bring to your attention certain things about the Bible that I think you guys miss. Okay? You know when a Christian swears that they're a Christian? And you got to remind them, you know, Jesus said, love your enemies. I'm going to preach to you again the Sermon on the Mount. Like, I know. What are we going to hear again? Right? That's what Stephen is doing here. So Stephen wants to emphasize some things revealed in Jewish history they may not have considered. Watch. That God, watch this. This is it. This is the main point. That God has never confined himself to one place, like the temple. And that the Jewish people have a habit of, watch this, rejecting those that God sends to them.
That was foreshadowing.
That's the whole.
Foreshadowing.
That's the whole Old Testament. Listen, let me tell you something. The whole Old Testament. The whole Old Testament. Watch this. Because we don't think of it like this. The whole Old Testament is about God's grace. We think we just encountered God's grace when? In the New Testament. Do you understand God's... Rich just preached this, right? Slow to anger, abounding in mercy and love, right? Showing kindness to 1,000 generations, etc., etc. The Jewish people, right, from ancient times, they continually, right, it's like a car that's in desperate need of wheel alignment, like my Jeep, right? You let go of that shit. I'm on the highway going 55 back to work, right? You know I'm not going 55. I'm driving, and I'm like, man, let me just get something over, right? And I just let go of the wheel, it's like, like naturally veering off. Some of you are a little nervous. I have a military fund up here, like, let me get something over the wheel, right? But check this out. Right? That's the people of Israel. That's the people of Israel. That's their heart. That's why God said, stiff-necked, adulterous people, right? Hard-hearted, stiff-necked, hard-hearted hearts. Now watch it. You gotta understand, God is amazing because it's in the Old Testament and through the Jewish people, the Old Covenant. God is actually, let me give you a big word here, I'll explain it. He's actually recapitulating. Repeat with me, recapitulating.
Recapitulating.
That's a nice way of saying summing up. All of those who are about to take the SATs in a couple of years, you know. Recapitulating, right? Summing up. God is recapitulating, listen up, human history through the people of Israel. I'm going to explain that. He is, in a sense, the Jewish people is a sign of actually all of humanity's relationship with God. That's what it is, recapitulating, right? So when you read the Jewish people, right, read yourself into that. That's you. God delivers you. He literally parts the seas for you. He literally brings you through, and then like in a day or two, because you want some water or some bread or some food, you're like, man, God, why you me? I'm gonna die. Where's God? I want to go back to the place of slavery. That besetting sin. I want to go back. Right? I want to go back to Egypt. So we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. We're gonna talk about that. Let me give you number 3. A little background here. This sermon is not a defense. Now, the Sanhedrin is putting Stephen on trial, in a sense, right? They trump up charges, and they're flexing on him. They're like, stressing him. Like, what? What's up now? Like, what do you got to say to yourself? You blaspheming the law? You speaking against Moses and the traditions? You speaking against God, the temple? Like, what's up? And they got him right there. The average person will say, they'll start to do what? Defend themselves. Like, no, I didn't do that. No. What does Stephen do? He's not trying to give an account. He's not trying to give a defense. The sermon is not a defense. Stephen isn't interested in defending himself. He simply wants to proclaim the truth about Jesus in a way people can understand. He's preaching to the very people who are about to kill him.
He's seizing the opportunity.
He's seizing an opportunity. Now watch this. I mean, we're going to see it in the end of chapter 7. I don't know if we'll get to it today. Some of you are like, you know, Stephen, I'm going to give you a heads up. Spoiler alert, Stephen dies. He gets killed. He's the first one to die for the faith. First Christian. After Christ. First martyr. Yeah, first martyr in the church. And the way this guy goes is crazy. It's kind of, again, like Jesus. Right before they stone him. He's not crucified, right? They're about to stone him. And he has a vision. He sees Jesus standing up, which is powerful, significant. We'll talk about that. But then he says, forgive them of their sins. Like, don't hold this. He says, it's literally, don't hold this sin against us. You remember that prayer that Jesus prayed on the cross? Yes. Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing, right? Like Jesus, like Stephen is a real disciple. Yeah. This dude is on another level. You getting stoned, and he's like, Father, forgive them. Like he's dying, Father, forgive. Now watch this. That prayer that Stephen prayed, that prayer that Stephen prayed. Well, what happened? Like, I don't know. The people that God really forgive them, who knows what? Guess what? Who was there? Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Before he was Paul, his name was Saul. See that? Saul. Saul. Who was one of the leading members of ISIS? No, I'm serious. Like one of the leading members of the ISIS. One of the whatever group that kind of ruffles your feather as a Christian. One of the leading feathers of the LGBTQ movement. One of the leading whatever ruffles your, This dude. Okay, he's the one. And when? Not then. It's not like Saul gets the vision of Christ right there. No. Saul, for an extended period of time, is all revved up by Stephen, and now he's killing Christians. Or getting Christians arrested, etc., etc. He's persecuting the church. But Jesus encounters Saul on the road to Damascus, and Saul becomes the Apostle Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the Bible. The New Testament.
Do you think Steve was getting planted though?
Possibly. The question is, did Saul hear that prayer that Stephen? Right, we'll talk about it. This is powerful. This is heavy.
Be close to them.
Definitely see. Something was happening. Okay. So you guys got that? That's a little bit of background at 7:55. We're going to cover some verses. We're going to look at verses 1 through 8. We have to get to verse 1. Somebody pray for Saul, pray for Joe. Acts chapter 7, verses 1 through 8. This is going to be the first major chunk. Hear the reading of the word of God to you. Then the high priest asked Stephen, "Are these charges true?" To this he replied, "Brothers and fathers, listen to me. The God of glory appeared to our father Abraham while he was still in Mesopotamia, before he lived in Haran. Leave your country and your people," God said, "and go to the land I will show you." Verse 4. So he left the land of the Chaldeans and settled in Haran. And after the death of his father, God sent him to this land where you are now living. He gave him no inheritance here, not even enough ground to set his foot on, but God promised him that he and his descendants after him would possess the land, even though at that time Abraham had no children, no child. Verse 6, God spoke to him in this way. For 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, God said, and afterward they will come out of that country and worship me in this place. One more verse, verse 8. Then he gave Abraham the covenant of circumcision, and Abraham became the father of Isaac, and circumcised him 8 days after his birth. Later Isaac became the father of Jacob, and Jacob became the father of the 12 patriarchs, or fathers. The word of the Lord. That's from verses 1 through 8. That's the opening of the first piece of his sermon to the Jewish ruling body. Stephen is not preaching in a backwater country. Stephen is he's in front of the highest elite seminary, scholars, people who know the Bible front and back, Jewish authorities, religious authorities, okay, elites, and he has the audacity to preach to them something that you would think they know. And on the surface, they know. They know the letter of the law. They don't know the spirit. That's the distinction. You can know the letter of the law. You can be very good at quoting the Bible, but not actually have the Word of God living inside your heart. Right? You may know what comes after 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. But you may not know anything about Corinthians in your heart. Right? So, what's going on here? Let's take a look in your notes, page 2. The high priest, we see here in verse 1, then the high priest asked Stephen, "Are these charges true?" High priest is the leader of the Sanhedrin. The high priest probably still is Caiaphas, the same one who presided over the trial of Jesus. You can look at this on your own in Matthew 26:57. Stephen recounts, now watch this, Abraham's journey from Ur of the Chaldeans to that's Haran, not Harlem. I was probably thinking of Harlem. Imagine that. So that's Haran, sorry, makes a typo, another typo. Then from Haran to Canaan, amounting to somewhat of a roundabout obedience to God's command. If you pull out a map and you look at the path by which Abraham is moving from his native land to the promised land, it's kind of like a roundabout way of doing things. It's not straight. And that's indicative of something. That is indicative of something. We're not sure what. It's only open to speculation. Maybe when Abraham agreed to follow, maybe as he was journeying, maybe he started having some doubts. Maybe he said, let me just chill here for a little bit. But let's watch this. We're going to continue to read here. There's going to be something interesting. God had commanded Abraham, here's the command, get out of your country and from what? Underline that, your relatives. And come to a land that I will show you. Wait a minute. And Stephen makes it clear this command came to Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia. However, when Abraham lived in the land of the Chaldeans and received this command and promise, he did not what? Only immediately obey. These are things you got to read the Bible very carefully to pick up, because it's not explicit. First, he did not immediately go to a land that I will show you. Second, right, because he went to a more familiar land that Abraham already knew. Because we do that. We sometimes test God. God, is this really you? Is this really you? Second, he did not leave his relatives. Think about that. God told Abraham to leave, go. Leave your relatives, right? He took his father, who died in Haran, and his nephew Lot. And we know what happened to Lot later. And the kind of trouble and how Abraham had to deliver and all kinds of stuff. So you already see, it's amazing how, right, God came to Abraham. Abraham is considered the man of faith. Amen to that. Right? He is the father of faith. But even in that, he struggled. The weakness of his humanity. The brokenness that is the fall, right? The sinful nature in the heart of Abraham leaks. It finds its expression. Right? And that's the case for you and I. Thank God for God's grace. Because God comes to us with a command. He invites us to do things. And sometimes we delay. Sometimes we take God's command and we tailor it for our liking. Right? Sometimes we hear God coming to us and then we say, I'll put that on hold. I'll hear that maybe in a couple weeks from now. Maybe I'll do that. Or we'll start walking in God's will. But then we'll kind of do a detour, but let me stop by McDonald's for a second. God said, no, go to the juice bar. Get me something nice, fresh juice. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go. You start, right, you get in the car, you want to go to the juice bar, you pass by McDonald's, and we'll get some golden nuggets. I won't eat it now, let's put it away for later. Yeah, the juice. I'm being obviously silly here, but that's the point. We do things, right? Now you remember the context. This is Stephen preaching this to the Sanhedrin. Okay? So that's going to be important, right? What do you think, let me ask you, what do you think Stephen is attempting to highlight? Already beginning to highlight here. What do you think? That's good. If you don't have nothing right now, that's good. Let's continue. Let's look right now at verses 9 through 16. Because there's a lot here. That's why I had to do some homework and do the breaking it down for you. There's a lot. It's like a big sermon. Verse 9 onward to 16. Because the patriarchs were jealous of Joseph, they sold him as a slave into Egypt. God was with him. Some of you, I feel like there's a word for one of you, maybe more than one here. You should underline that. But God was with him. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. He was sold into slavery in Egypt. But God was with him. Paul says in Romans chapter 8, nothing can separate you from the love of God. neither sword nor famine. Nothing in the created order can ever separate you from the love of God. Right? God was with Joseph. Sold into slavery, still God is still with him. He gave Joseph, this is God, right? He gave Joseph wisdom and enabled him to gain the goodwill of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. So Pharaoh made him ruler over Egypt and all his palace. Then a famine struck all Egypt and Canaan, and bringing great suffering, and our ancestors could not find food. Remember, this is Stephen preaching to the same people. When Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, food in Egypt, he sent our forefathers, the same guys who sold Joseph into slavery, sent forth our forefathers on their first visit. And on their second visit, Joseph told his brothers who he was. And Pharaoh learned about Joseph's family. After this, Joseph sent his father Jacob and his whole family, 75 in all. And then Jacob went down to Egypt, where he and our ancestors died. And their bodies were brought back to Shechem and placed in the tomb that Abraham had brought the sons of Hamor at Shechem for a certain sum of money. Again, why is Stephen preaching these words to the same region? It's like this guy is retelling things that they would already know. Let's look at the notes. Verses 9 through 16 highlight, look at this, God's faithfulness through Joseph. Not just to Joseph, but through Joseph. Stephen mentions the story of Joseph because he is a picture of underline that. Underline that. And I gotta put something in the word. Don't worry, it won't take too long. So the line you're underlining is right there on your second page in your notes, where it says, Stephen mentions the story of Joseph because he is a picture of Jesus. What does that mean, that Joseph, who lived thousands of years before Jesus, how could Joseph be a picture of the coming Messiah?
It has to be a spiritual wisdom.
It's spiritual wisdom. Anyone else? Yes.
He was rejected by his brothers, by all those around him.
Amazing.
People
Yes.
were Savior and king, like they saw him as a king.
Right. And you're absolutely right, Susan. You're absolutely right. But we want to focus on how is it possible? How is it possible that Joseph, who lived thousands of years before Jesus came, that he could be a sign, a foreshadowing, right? And in theology, there's a word called typology. And typology is the study of the prophetic prophecy, prophetic foreshadowing of things to come. Prophetic foreshadowing of things to come. Right? Of things to come.
You know the verse is Revelation too, right? He got Revelation.
Say that again?
Revelation.
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 All of this is revelation, though. All of this is revelation, right? And so, what typology shows us, check this out, is how revelation could be embedded in revelation. You know how you get a delicious cake? Why am I always using food? No. Fatty. Okay. You know you get a crazy cake, right? And you cut it, put it on in front of it, right? And there's layers. That's the point. There's layers. Right? There's layers. And so typology speaks of watch this, look, a deeper layer, I'm going to write it now, a deeper layer in the scripture. A deeper layer, right? I'm going to give you some examples of this. And I've used this before, but we could play around with it. Here's an example of a typology, because it could work from the past to the present, past to the future. It can work from the present, kind of recapitulating the past. It's very deep. It's very deep. But here's an example. Jesus is the Messiah. Yes? The Christ. Amen. Son of the living God. Hallelujah. Amen. 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 And Jesus, as the Messiah, you gotta understand that to be the Mashiach, that's the Hebrew way of saying Messiah, meant, among other things, that you will embody Israel. You are, in a sense, Israel. You are the true Israel. The true Israel. Right? And part of the understanding of the Messiah is that he or she, actually just he, and in this context, of the patriarchal context, will redeem Israel, and partly why he'll do that is by, listen, living the life that Israel is called to live. But here's an example of a prophetic or typological scenario. Here it is. Torah, first 5 books of Moses. Remember? What happens in the wilderness? First of all, they get delivered from Egypt, and they end up spending how many years in the wilderness? 40 years. Wasn't the intention. Because of their sin, their backwardness, right? 40 years in the wilderness, discipline. God has to, it takes 40 years for God to get Egypt out of Israel. It takes 1 day to deliver Israel out of Egypt, 40 years to take Egypt out of Israel. That's the discipleship. God saves you in 1 day. Boom, oh my, Jesus is Lord. It's going to take the rest of your life. All those patterns, right, to get it out. Now, wait a minute. They get to the Jordan River, right? Who's leading them into the promised land now? Joshua. Right? Not Moses, Joshua. Joshua crosses them through the Jordan. Wait a minute, where was Jesus baptized? In the Jordan. Wait. He goes into, right, Israel goes into what? The promised land, the land of Canaan. And life. Jesus comes along. Right? He gets baptized where? In the Jordan. Coming out of Israel, gets baptized in the Jordan. He's reversing something here. Where does the Holy Spirit drive him to? In the Gospel of Mark, it says the Holy Spirit drove Jesus. In the Gospel of Luke, it says the Holy Spirit led Jesus. To where? To where? Wilderness. How many days? 40 days. Of what? Temptation, trial. Wait a minute. He's being tempted by who? The devil. How does Jesus defend himself against the devil? The Word of God. Where is Jesus quoting from? Deuteronomy, the 5th book of Moses. The book that was given to Israel before they entered the promised land. Now you got this is deep. What happens? Right? He gets baptized, the dove falls on him. The dove is a national symbol of Israel. You don't know that. He's led into the wilderness. Out of the wilderness, where does he go? Into the promised land. To now do ministry. He's delivering. He's delivering. What Jesus does there, he recapitulates, there goes that word again, and correcting. Because what was happening is Israel keeps falling. Israel keeps sinning in the wilderness. Jesus does it what?
Yeah.
Right, that's a small example. That's just a small. This thing is much deeper than that. Okay? And you see examples of this. Jesus himself uses this typology in the Gospel of John in chapter 3. Right? And Jesus is talking to, whoever he's talking to, I think Nicodemus. And, the whole conversation about being born again, being born of the water and the Spirit. And he says, when I will be lifted up on that day, like the serpent that was lifted up on the pole in Moses, right? Like you read that, you're like, what is that about? If I can give you an answer right now, I'm hoping to encourage you to go home and do your homework and dive into Scripture, because this is amazing stuff. This is amazing stuff. What's up with baptism? Baptism is a typological, prophetic foreshadowing of Israel passing through the waters of the Red Sea. Egypt, sin. The world, Red Sea, water. Right? Boom. So there's a lot of this going on. There's a lot of this going on. 1 second. Right? That's typology. Now, even Jews today, I mean, you gotta know a little bit about this, but when they speak of the Messiah, they say that the Messiah will be the son of David and the son of Joseph. That's a little weird, right? Son of David and the son of, how can you be the son of David and the son of Joseph, right? Now wait a minute, so King David and the patriarch who? Joseph. Think about this. In Hebrew it would be Mashiach ben David, which means the Messiah, son of David. Ben in Hebrew means son. Mashiach ben Yosef, Messiah, son of Joseph. Why? What the rabbis are saying is this: the Messiah will be a political ruler, the King of Kings of all, like David was. He would sit on the throne of David. He will restore peace to the land. And watch this now. But the rabbis don't know how to make sense of this, because they'll say, but the rabbi is also going to be like Joseph, rejected by his brethren, sold into slavery, put to death, or attempted to do so, and that he's actually, the Messiah somehow is going to redeem Israel through that suffering. That's the story of Joseph. And the reason why rabbis believe this is because of certain prophecies, like the prophecy in the book, and you can read this on your own, Isaiah chapter 53, which is called the suffering servant. That the Messiah will redeem Israel and redeem the world through his suffering. Go home and do your homework. Check this out. Isaiah 53. So that's what we're seeing here. And what Stephen is doing, listen up. What Stephen is doing here is he's saying implicitly, remember the story of Joseph. Remember the story of Abraham. He's talking to the Sanhedrin. Remember the story of Moses. Remember, he's telling this to who? Jewish leaders, theologians, biblical scholars. They know this. But Stephen is saying, go deeper. I know you think you got this. Go deeper. The scriptures are speaking about you. Now watch. Back to the notes. So again, Stephen mentions the story of Joseph because he is a picture of Jesus, in that the sons of Israel rejected Joseph, who later on became a kind of savior. Right? The only possible savior for them in that historical context. Think about that, man. If Joseph wasn't sold into slavery, if he wasn't thrown into a pit by his brothers, how would Joseph have become the second leader in all of Egypt that ended up saving his own people? It's crazy. It's crazy. Think about it. And that's exactly what we celebrate as Christians. That through the cross, Jesus saved the world. It's precisely the rejection of Jesus as the Messiah, Paul writes in Romans chapter 9, 10, 11 onward, that Jesus saves the world. It's through that. Wait. In essence, read along with me, Stephen is saying this: you people have a habit of rejecting the Savior God sends to you. Why don't you wake up and stop rejecting Jesus? That's what Stephen is doing here. He's using the Old Testament to make a point. He's saying, wake up, stop doing what as a people we've been doing for a very long time. Question, and this is more of an apologetic thing, we're going to go through it very quickly. How can Genesis 46:27, this is again for your own study, FYI. How can Genesis 46:27 say there were 70 altogether of the family of Israel, when Stephen in the book of Acts says there were 75? Right? These are one of those questions that people sometimes like to throw out. Well, the Bible contradicts itself. Right? And this is why you want to do your homework, so you have something to say when people say that. And here's an example. Stephen is actually quoting from the Septuagint version of the Old Testament, which says 75. The Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. The Greek translation was commissioned by a collective rabbis for the Jews that were in the diaspora, who lost how to speak or read Hebrew. That's not an important point, but it's something that you want to explore. The number in the Septuagint is not wrong. It's not a contradiction in the two different versions of the Bible. The list arrived at in a different way, specifically adding the 5 more sons or grandsons of Joseph born in Egypt. So all that's a side thing there, but just to show you how sometimes what appears to be a contradiction in the Bible is an invitation by God from you to I, right? To the both of us rather, to study the Bible deeper. Sometimes when you open the Bible and you see a discrepancy or something that doesn't make sense, or sometimes you read a scripture that doesn't make you feel good, like how could God allow this to happen? I have found in my own life that that's an invitation from God to go deeper in your study of the Bible, to explore the scripture more deeply, because God has something to say, particularly through that. Now, in verses 17 to 29, let me read this, and then we're going to draw to a close soon. As the time drew near for God to fulfill his promise to Abraham, this is Stephen, remember back in the sermon, the number of our people in Egypt had greatly increased. Then a new king to whom Joseph meant nothing came to power in Egypt. He dealt treacherously with our people and oppressed our ancestors by forcing them to throw out their newborn babies so they would die. At that time Moses was born. He was no ordinary child. Moses is also a type of who? Jesus. For 3 months he was cared for by his family. When he was placed outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him and brought him up as her own son. The first stages of life for Moses had 3 major stages in life. First 40 years was where? Egypt. Other 40 years was the wilderness. 40 years of that is when he was delivering the people of Israel out of Egypt and in the wilderness, guiding them. Something to think about those numbers there. And so Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in speech and action. When Moses was 40 years old, he decided to visit his own people, the Israelites. Let me just stop right there. Who was powerful in speech and action. How? Moses stuttered. Moses stuttered.
That was the question I had on that.
Moses stuttered. Why is Stephen saying? Stephen knows that. And the people whom he's speaking to, they know that as well.
He was saying he was so learned, he was so scholarly.
He was learning, but he had a speech impediment. How can Stephen say that Moses was powerful in speech?
Because it's not speech per se he was referring to.
What?
The word.
That's part of it?
Is he referring to, because he was fueled by the Holy Spirit, so he's referring to what came out, not what he had in place of his own nature.
Yes. Here's the reason why.
Because God was speaking to
Grace.
What God doesn't see the way humans see it. Right? The Bible says humans tend to look at the outward form while God sees the what we see as a limp or a failure or brokenness, God sees as something actually powerful. It speaks of God's grace. That's right. And how God will use that. He will use your speech impediment. He will use your whatever handicap you may possess, either emotionally, physically, spiritually. He will use that in powerful ways. That's part of what's being articulated. It also signifies what speech means as well. Moses thought, where was that? Sorry. Thank you. When Moses was 40 years old, he decided to visit his own people, the Israelites. He saw one of them being mistreated by an Egyptian, so he went to his defense and avenged him by killing the Egyptian. Moses thought that his own people would realize that God was using him to rescue them, but they did not. The next day, Moses came upon 2 Israelites who were fighting. He tried to reconcile them by saying, "Men, you are brothers. Why do you want to hurt each other?" But the man who was mistreating the other pushed Moses aside and said, "Bro, what? Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday?" Ooh, shots fired. And when Moses heard this, he fled. He was like, "I'm out." fled to Midian, where he settled as a foreigner and had 2 sons. Okay, let's stop right there. In the notes, Israel's rejecting of Moses at his first coming. Moses is the next picture of Jesus, who was favored by God from birth, miraculously preserved in childhood, and was mighty in words and deeds. How was he preserved? Moses was put in a basket in the water. The name Moses is an Egyptian name. It means he who is drawn from the waters. This is a miraculous preservation, a typological symbol of how Christ came into the world. This is a lot of typology. And so what's being signified is that there's many types. Now, the first rejection of Moses was when Moses went to reconcile 2 Israelite brothers. And they said to him, who made you rule over us? Who made you rule over us? Right? What Stephen is saying here, what he is implying, is the whole sermon is loaded with implications. It's filled with implicit kind of invocations. He's alluding, it's a lot of alluding to things that on the surface read, you mean this. And now the rest of these verses here, we're going to finish up next week. But here is one of the takeaway points that I want you to think about. What Stephen is saying through the sermon to the Israelites is this: do not think because you are in church, because you read the Bible, because you serve in ministries, do not think that you are secure in your faith. It could be the case, that you are actually an expert at rejecting God. It could be the case that in your multiple activities in the service of the church and in ministries, you could actually be rejecting how God is actually coming to you. Do not be arrogant or pompous because you know the Bible. Rather, come to Scripture and come to God with a spirit of humility, always. Come to God with a spirit of openness, saying, Lord, your word is the final word. Ask the Father, Lord, how have I been missing you? Are there ways that I have been rejecting you? Are there ways I have been missing the mark? Sometimes we step over Jesus in the street. We ignore Jesus when he calls us on the phone. We don't go to visit Jesus in the hospital. There are many ways we can actually reject Jesus without us even knowing it. And the prayer that we should have always is, Lord, help me not to forget you. Let me not make my ministry my God. Let me not make any of these things, whatever I do religiously, let that not get in the way of a real, authentic relationship with you, God. And so with our last 5 minutes here, last 3 to 5 minutes, I want you to think about that. I want to invite you to maybe just look down or just close your eyes, and I'm just going to speak out of that. So you're going to reflect on this meditation. Questions are, think about how you perhaps have sidestepped God, how you've rejected God, unwittingly, unknowingly. Are there possible instances in your own respective ministries, in your relationships, where you have neglected Christ? Are there instances where Christ in broken flesh came to you in the form of a homeless individual in the form of a phone call, in the form of a family member that you rejected Christ? Are there instances when you've neglected certain duties God was calling you to operate in? Is it possible that in your running to worship, in your running to church, in your running to the Bible, you have actually stepped on Christ? And so, Father, we ask that you would make us to be aware of these things. Open our hearts. Open our eyes, Lord. Open our ears. Open our souls to you. Help us, Lord. That could be Jesus calling right now. Lord, you come to us in many ways. Help us not to neglect that. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So go in the peace of Christ, everyone. Love you. See you all next week.